Good afternoon guys and welcome back to the channel, and today guys, by the title you'll see we're going to be talking about strike with your irons, even on your shorter irons, even on your wedge shots. We want to be thinking about how we can guarantee that we're getting a better strike. So a lot of people, by the title, 90% of people I see don't strike their irons very well, catch the ground before, they hit thins, they hit tops, they hit shanks, they hit every shot, and there's a few things that set up that are causing that. So we're going to have a look at 3 different things, and then I'm going to give you a drill that's going to help you be able to work on your strike, get that better throughout the winter. Again, as soon as the ground starts to get wet, if we're not catching the ground where we want and we're not able to control our low point, we're going to have a lot more fat shots, we're going to lose some shots very short, we're going to have a lot more shots in general, and it's not going to help us lower that handicap. So the first thing I want to talk about is when I see people come for lessons, or I see them on the driving range or on the golf course, ball position starts to sneak forwards, sternum is then behind the ball. What that's encouraging you to do is again get your low point behind the ball, so that club is actually working up. So I'm going to catch it very low on the face, I'm not going to get a contact. That was very much off the toe of the club, and that's going to limit how far that ball will travel. What we can also see from here is that you might start to catch it heavy, so if you are a little bit steep, if you do come over the top, we're then going to be taking big divots, catching it fat, and the ball's only going to go 10 yards. So what we want to make sure it's set up, and when you're practicing, what we want to think is, right, my ball position's in the middle of my stance here, and we want to make sure that my club is just ahead of my zipper and sternum is with that. So much more over the ball, we're not now behind it, my weight's not here, my weight's now, if anything, 50-50, but my sternum's a little bit ahead of the ball. What that's going to encourage us to do is catch the ball before the turf and get a much better, more solid strike and a better flight towards where we want to go. We can see we caught the ball first, a nice square divot. That's going to help us get a little bit better contact. So when you're on the driving range, guys, what I want you to do is think about that. Think about, right, what kind of strikes am I getting? If you're catching it fat with your wedges or with your longer irons or with any of your irons, we need to think, right, is my sternum, where's my weight, am I angled back here? That's going to be encouraging my club to be working up. So a lot of people think when they top the ball that they're hitting too much down onto that golf ball. Again, you'll start to see that mainly that is coming from us falling back, if anything, and that club is working off into the centre of the ball. So from down the line, when we have this kind of shot, what you'll start to see, if I am leaning a little bit back, what it's going to encourage me to do is potentially hit it high and left. If I match the path up, the path's going to be left, the face is left, it's going to come off high potentially. It's going to be a pulled shot. The opposite then, a lot of people will then try and hold that off, so they'll then open the face and we'll get a little bit of a fade. So we want to make sure by getting myself a little bit more ahead of the ball, finishing with that weight on the left, that's going to allow me to come down into the back of the ball, take the ball first, and then follow through to that finish. So that's the first thing we want to check. So the first thing you check is, where is my sternum? If you feel that you're angled back, even if you film yourself or look at yourself in a glass, if there's any glass at the driving range or a mirror, you can be able to see, right, that's why I'm catching it thin, that's why I'm not getting a good strike. So getting that more straight up ahead of the ball, we can get that downward hit into the golf ball that we need. So the second thing I start to see, and something you need to check, is forearm alignment. So a lot of people I start to see, they get this right hand on the top, arms are then pointing left, and as a result that's encouraging again the club to be working across the ball. The strike's going to be a glancing blow and we're not going to get the distance we want. It's the same sometimes to the right. If people get the ball position too far back, right hand gets underneath, forearms aren't matching. We want to see from down the line, if I'm going straight towards the flag, that if I go up with that setup, from there you'll not be able to see my left arm because they will match. So making sure that we can get into that position, and a lot of the times the shoulders start to get open because this right hand is below the left for a right-handed golfer. That's encouraging the shoulders open. That again encourages you to get your alignment a little bit left. So we need to make sure that just before setup we're squaring those shoulders up to where we want to go. If I don't, we're going to be encouraging that club to work across the ball. I'm going to get a glancing blow. That's then faded. We can see it's not a nice interaction with the ground. It's cut across and that's never going to get the distance we want. You might feel like, oh, do you know what, I've got a lot of speed, I've got a lot of clubhead speed, but the ball's going nowhere near it should be. And that's because we're glancing across the golf ball. So if I now, tap that down for Mr. Jones, if I now get my arm alignment a lot more neutral, so last thing, I close those shoulders a bit, get everything nice and square. A better strike, a much lower flight, and straight towards our target. So just matching that up there allows me to start the ball on line. So again, it's helping a few things. It's not only just getting rid of the glancing blow, so we're going to get the distance, but we're also going to improve your start line. We're not going to get the ball starting left, because sometimes you'll square it up and hit a pull, the next time then you'll hit a fade, or if you're the opposite way, sometimes you'll block it straight out to the right. If not, you'll hook it left of the green. So forearm alignment is something certainly to check. So we've got our weight a little bit left, we're making sure we're not behind the ball, and then from there we're going to square those shoulders up so the alignment comes back around. So that's 2 points. So that's 2 points at setup that you can check. Setup is key. A lot of things just come back to simple setup. So if we can get those 2 points good, then we're off to a good start. We've got a good strong base. But the next point is what I see when people take the club away, which then also affects their strike. So now on to the third and final thing. So this is for your motion, and this is something that I see from a lot of golfers. You've been told, you've seen videos, you've watched Sky Sports, people have told you to make sure that you load your weight in the backswing, and all I see a lot of the times is people are already behind it, we then move way off the golf ball, and I can never get back to that golf ball unless I really do a weight shift. From there, strike's going to be a low, strike's going to be high, it's going to be a glancing blow. You'll get one that you flush and you think I've figured it out, but it's going to be very inconsistent. So we want to work on that. So it's a combination now of setup. I'm now not behind the ball, I'm now in line, if not just slightly ahead. My arm alignment is now square. And then what we're going to do for this drill, which is going to help you do all those three things to get a better strike, is we're going to get our left foot just ahead of the golf ball. We're going to drop back that right foot, and now we're going to work on making sure that I can turn that body, but I stay a lot more centered over that golf ball so I can control where the low point is. This is exactly the same in pitching. If I'm hitting a pitch shot, we want to make sure we stay ahead of that. I can then control that I turn my chest back, turn my chest through, and that's a nice flighted wedge. So these drills aren't just helping you with your longer shots, with your 5-iron, with your 4-iron, with your 6-iron, 7-iron, whichever iron. This is also helping you with those pitch shots from 30 yards. We still need to get this body working better, because what I see a lot of times, even on your pitch shots, stance is too wide, we move off, and we've got no chance of controlling how high it's going, what direction it's going, or even if we're going to hit it. So nice and easy, drop that back, left foot just in front, focus on that body turning. Here I'm going to make more of a fuller motion, so a 3/4 swing, turn the body, started on line, gone nice and straight, a good strike, a nice neutral divot, because the body's working better. We can let this body turn, the foot comes off a little bit, but we're still in balance. And that's the key thing with this drill. It's encouraging you to swing within yourself. We're then going to be able to control where your low point is, and that's going to help us control the start line, the strike, which then as a result is going to help us what kind of distance we're getting. You're not going to get an A-time that, it can go 160, but then on other occasions it might go 130. So guys, hopefully that helps you. Going into the winter, we're going to have wet conditions. We don't need to be much off with strike to not get the ball going as far as we want. So this is a nice drill to do on the driving range, on the course, on your practice field, or even just without a golf ball. Practice not shifting off. But we've covered three things there. So setup wise, we can fix setup. We want to think I'm not behind the ball, so check yourself in a mirror. Get a little bit ahead of the ball. We're then encouraging a downward blow, and we're going to catch the ball and then turf. From down the line, we want to make sure that just because my right hand's low, it's not opened up my arm alignment and shoulders. We need to make sure that we can correct that and get that square to target. From down the line, we shouldn't be able to see your left arm if you're a right-handed golfer. And then the final one is obviously not moving off the ball, swaying off and then falling back into your shot. So guys, hopefully that helps you with your strike. Comment below if this video has helped you out, and I will see you again later in the week.